Do you know that Dave Kunst was the first person who crossed the whole world by walking? But during this, Dave used airplanes to cross the oceans. In this entire circumnavigation, Dave covered a total distance of 27,000 kilometers, undoubtedly in pieces, but crossed it on foot. But the person we are going to talk about today is not Dave, but rather perhaps 2 hands ahead of Dave. This person is bent on crossing the world's longest continuous path, that too, only on foot. Yes, where our thinking ends, there the beginning of Karl Bushby's thinking happens. Not 5,000 kilometers, not 10,000, and not even 25,000 kilometers. Amazingly, on this journey he has so far covered a distance of 47,000 kilometers, only on his feet. And the surprising thing is, even today, his journey has not ended. 25 countries, 6 deserts, 7 mountain ranges, and a time of 27 years. But the purpose is only one, to go around the whole world on foot, and that too without any support. But finally, how? Welcome once again to the videos of FM Muneeb TV. Viewers, an ex-paratrooper belonging to England, Karl Bushby, who made the dangerous intention to cross the world's longest path on foot. On 1st November 1998, he kept only $500 in his pocket, and started his journey from the city of Punta Arenas, located on the southern tip of Chile. Karl gave this mission the name Goliath Expedition. He had started such a mission in which he had to cross the entire American continent and go to Russia, then from there to Asia, and then coming to his hometown in England, finish his journey. This total distance becomes 58,000 kilometers. According to Karl's estimate, if he walked even 19 kilometers in a day, he would easily cover this journey in 8 years. But the difficulties he was going to face in this journey, he did not even know that this journey of 8 years would not be able to end even after 27 years. Karl Bushby made 2 rules for this expedition of his. First, that no ride will be used in this journey. Train, car, airplane, or any motorized vehicle will not be used. He will have to walk every step only and only on foot. And second, that if he had to stop his journey in the middle, then he would have to start again from exactly the same place where he had placed his last step. These rules sound easy to hear, but Karl has paid their price with years of loneliness, visa troubles, and the fear of death. Karl Bushby placed his first step on the stones of South America. Hot weather, wild paths, and a new challenge at every turn of the land. In the beginning, after leaving Chile, he started moving forward mostly along the Pacific coast and staying at the edge of the Andes Mountains. Because of this, he escaped from crossing the difficult part of the world's largest Amazon jungle. But before turning towards Central America, the thing that troubled him the most was the weather and terrain. In the beginning of the journey in Patagonia, he had to face very fast and cold winds. Then walking up and down in the world's longest Andes mountain range is an impossible task in itself. In the north of Chile, he had to pass through the world's driest and most desolate areas like the Atacama Desert. Here, the biggest difficulty was the lack of water and the intense heat during the daytime. Along with essential goods, for the first time he had to pull and take more water than necessary. Karl Bushby had kept a pushcart with him. A small cart consisting of 2 wheels in which he could easily pull by keeping food, clothes, and some items of necessity. Karl says that while passing through the Atacama Desert, I only used to stop when I found water. To cross South America was undoubtedly a big milestone, but the real challenge was the Darien Gap, a 320-kilometer path between Colombia and Panama, which is called the Darien Gap. Here, dense jungle, the strange insects present in it, and poisonous snakes along with guerrilla gangs are found. Karl had to escape from all these and get out from here. While crossing the Panama border, he was also arrested at the hands of the Panama police and was kept in jail for 18 days. But after the explanation, when he was released, then according to the rule, he started his journey again from exactly the same place where he had left it. To cross Central America was also a big challenge in itself. Here is a big chain of small countries. In every country, because of visa problems and entry and exit, a lot of time would be taken at the border. By 2002, Karl had crossed Central America. Then he entered the US, where sometimes he had to walk on foot by escaping from traffic on long highways, and sometimes he had to face the intense heat of the Sonoran Desert. The weather here was even hotter than the Atacama Desert of Chile. By 2005, when he reached Canada and Alaska, the weather had completely changed. Here he had to walk in extreme cold, snowfall, and the most difficult terrain. In the desolate areas of Alaska where there were not even roads, he often used dog sledding trails to take supplies and find the way. Because of sleds, the snow becomes a little compressed on which one can walk. But at this point too, Karl did not take help from dogs. because by this his most important rule would break, meaning he was not to take help from anyone. After Alaska, the difficulties that Karl Bushby faced proved to be the biggest and most dangerous of the Goliath expedition. To enter Siberia, meaning Russia, from Alaska in North America, he had to cross the Bering Strait, a sea frozen with ice that connects America and Russia. The biggest challenge here is that the ice of the Bering Strait does not stay in one place. Because of sea waves, large pieces of ice constantly keep moving. Between these ice pieces is the open sea. Karl many times did swimming in cold water to go from one piece to another, where the extreme cold of the Arctic and the danger of hypothermia kept hovering over his head. Karl crossed this part of the Bering Strait on foot, with a French adventurer Dmitry Kiefer. He spent this 240-kilometer path in the dangerous storms of the Arctic, and 14 days without doing any sleep, and in the end, when he reached Russia, he had to face the longest hurdle of this journey. The Russian authorities arrested him. Undoubtedly, Karl had a valid visa to enter Russia present with him. But the Russian authorities said that the Bering Strait is not an official port of entry. Regarding this issue, Karl was deported and sent back to the UK. Here his journey could have ended. But because Karl had now become a famous figure, therefore Britain's Deputy Prime Minister John Prescott and Russian billionaire Roman Abramovich intervened and Karl got permission to walk in Russia. But this journey was not easy. His visas were applied for only 90 days, meaning after every 90 days he had to leave Russia and go back to some country. Many times this delay went on for months. In 2008, his funding also finished. At that time he stopped in Mexico and for 2 years just kept waiting. Then in 2011, after getting funding, Karl again made entry into Russia. While walking on the icy rivers of the tundra regions, he had reached the middle of Siberia. Here, an even small mistake could have taken Karl's life. But he kept walking. Every year, 3 months walk, the remaining 9 months waiting for the visa. In 2013, Karl then felt a very big shock when he came to know that Russia had imposed a 5-year ban on him, but that man was not one to stop. Karl, instead of staging a sit-in somewhere to record a protest, adopted a unique way. He walked 4,800 kilometers on foot, from Los Angeles to Washington, D.C., and protested outside the Russian embassy. This journey alone was a very big record in itself. When the media reported this unique protest, the Russian authorities in 2014 took back the 5-year ban imposed on him. Now once again he got a Russian visa, and he reached that same GPS point in Siberia where he had left the journey. Leaving Russia, Karl now reached Mongolia. There he crossed the Gobi Desert, which is spread over 1,130 kilometers. Then he passed through Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, and Turkmenistan via the route of China. But the visa of Iran once again closed his path. This was the era of the pandemic, and in Turkmenistan itself, Karl's journey stopped for a long time. When the visa of Iran still was not granted, then in 2022, Karl made a life-threatening plan. He thought that if I cannot go to Iran, then I can definitely reach Azerbaijan by swimming through the Caspian Sea. For this work, he bought a small kayak, not for himself, but to load his belongings. He crossed 288 kilometers of the Caspian Sea in 31 days. Daily he used to do 6 hours of swimming, 3 hours in the morning and 3 hours in the evening. Then at night he would climb on that same kayak and go to sleep. Fast waves tried very hard to stop his path. But Karl did not break. His saying was, "I do not like to do swimming, but it was necessary to do this." Finally, he reached Azerbaijan, and from there again started the walk. In 2025, Karl entered Turkey from Azerbaijan. By now he had become so famous that in every village people gave him invitations to their homes. While talking to the BBC, Karl told that he will never be able to forget the hospitality of Turkey. In Istanbul, he had to cross the Bosphorus Strait and enter Europe. On the Bosphorus Bridge, only cars are allowed, but the authorities gave permission only to Karl to walk on this on foot, and thus he crossed this bridge on foot and officially entered Europe. On this occasion, his saying was that when I had left, Tony Blair was Prime Minister in the UK. Now 5 new Prime Ministers have come in Britain. I feel that when I go home, that country will also be new. After 27 years of matchless hard work, now the last 3,000 kilometers of Karl Bushby are left. His target is to reach the UK while going through Bulgaria, Romania, Hungary, Austria, Germany, and France. But for Karl, now another big problem is going to come, and that is the English Channel, meaning the Channel Tunnel connecting the UK and France. To walk on the Channel Tunnel is also strictly banned because from there high-speed trains pass, heat more than the limit, and a lack of oxygen. But there is also another way, the service tunnel. In the Channel Tunnel, a total of 3 tunnels are built. 2 for trains, and 1 has been kept for emergency, which is called the service tunnel. But to use this tunnel on foot, Karl will have to take special permission. It is being expected that Karl Bushby will place the last step of the Goliath Expedition in 2026 in his hometown. And by that time, he will have traveled 58,000 kilometers, which becomes 1.5 times the circumference of the Earth. From this expedition of Karl, it is revealed that a human being makes his limits himself. But in reality, he has no limit. He can do whatever he wants. Now, when next time you feel that life has stopped, then remember this: Karl Bushby is still walking. Undoubtedly, the world is very big, but it can fall small in front of a person's resolve. On one occasion, Karl's saying was, "Life does not stop, it only changes the path." Hope you people will also fully like and share this video of FM Muneeb TV. Extreme thanks for the love-filled comments of you people.